If your team is producing and testing 10 or 20 or even 30 ads every single week, but none of them really takes off and you don't have predictable growth but rather a roller coaster, then the problem is not in your ad creative volume. Because the truth is, with that testing volume, you should have predictable winning ads coming in every single week. So if it's not the ad volume, what is it exactly? When most brands come to me, they have a team, they have copywriters, or they work with an external agency, but the framework of them is simply not good enough to create new winning ads predictably. What they would often do is just type in Atria or type in Foreplay or AdSpy or any other spying software, check out what the competitor is doing, and then replicate what the competitor is doing while including the branding of your own brand. Now, this doesn't only not work, but it also advertises your competitor. Because if you sound exactly like them, why should they go and buy from you and not from the competitor who was first there and who brought out the message first? If your ads just replicate your competitor, then you just remind your prospects of your competitor. Now, if the team that you're working with is more educated, you might have people who understand that you need a proper framework, you need a hook, a body, and a CTA. But the execution and results still vary depending on the expertise, experience, and skill of them. So in this video, I will show you the exact framework my team and me are using to produce ads that can spend 20, 30, or even 50k just by themselves. I'll walk you through all the fundamentals you need to know for this, and also how to apply it specifically to your brand. So to actually share the framework with you, we quickly need to talk about this, the 5 stages of customer awareness. And you surely heard it already a lot of times, but most of the time people still fail to actually take this knowledge and translate it into a tangible framework and a tangible script that will convert your prospects in whatever stage they are into customers that buy from you and that you can retain. So just to go quickly over this, we have 5 awareness stages in which a person can be, and depending on the awareness stage, the communication in your ad and how we approach them will be very different. The easiest to advertise to and the most targeted people are those in stage 4 and 5, which is the product aware market and the most aware market. The most aware market already knows you and wants to buy from you. The product aware market knows the product that you sell and how it works. Now, the less targeted ones are the solution aware market. Those are people who know they have a problem and who know there's a solution, but not specifically about your product or product category. And then we also have the problem aware market, who don't even know there is a solution, but only realize they have a problem and are unhappy with that. And then there is the unaware market, which is usually the biggest, and they don't even realize they have a problem. They wouldn't ever want to buy your product if you pitch it directly to them, because they don't think there is something they need to solve. But theoretically, they fall into the category of type of person who could use your product and who could experience great benefits from it and be happy with it. So now, why am I telling you all of this? Basically, you need to understand that depending on the awareness stage your persona that you target is in, the framework of your script will be very different. Because people that are at stage 5, they just usually need an offer to buy. They already want to buy from you. People that are in stage 4, they might need some convincing why your product really works and why they should buy from you rather than from your competitors. The people in stage 3 need to learn why your solution is the best solution. For example, if they have sleeping problems, they could sign up to a meditation app or course, or they could just start taking melatonin pills, or they could take a supplement without melatonin that helps them sleep. In stage 2, they need to feel understood and they need some education on solutions that actually solve the problem and how your product specifically does that. And if they are in the unaware stage, you first want to hook them in and gather the right people just by curiosity and just by calling them out indirectly. But then you educate them on the issue. You give them a vision, you create a vision of how they could be actually living without this issue that they have until now just accepted to be part of life or not even really consciously perceived. And then you show them that there's a solution and you pitch them their product as the solution and you make them an offer. And this is how you get them all the way from stage 1 to most aware and wanting to buy from you. And now there are script frameworks for each stage where the persona is at that you want to target. Another thing is that many brands would just focus on the product aware stage and say, oh, our people are already more sophisticated, or oh, our persona is only solution aware, so we focus on this one. The thing is that you miss out on a lot of scale if you only focus on these stages, or maybe even these stages. Or maybe you say, oh, my customer is problem aware, so I only focus on this. The truth is that the exact same type of person is available and theoretically exists in all 5 awareness stages. That means that the same type of person can be aware of, let's say, melatonin pills and already aware of their sleep problem and looking for them. But also it could be someone who is even unaware, who has kind of sleep problems, but for many years and accepted it as normal and doesn't even really notice. So what you want to do is not just focus on one stage, but you want to build a whole awareness funnel that gets people from, oh, I don't have a problem, I don't need anything, to I have a problem, I want to solve it, and I want to buy from this guy because that's the guy who educated me on me having that problem, and he offers the solution, and this is why I trust him. Now let me show you a little trick on how to get lots of frameworks that work perfectly for each awareness stage, depending on who you want to target with the current script. So here's such a framework that would work for a product aware audience. Now you can see it's not as vague as, oh, we have a hook and then we have a body where we just kind of copy what the competitors say, or just bring in some social proof and scarcity and then a CTA. But this is very, very well planned through depending on where the customer is. So if a customer is product aware, they already know that the product exists, they know how it works, at least like how the other products work. We want to position our product as better, right? Because we need to give them a reason to buy from us and not a competitor. So what we do here is, for example, this kind of framework. Many different frameworks can work, but this is one good example framework. So basically in the hook, we don't call out the problem. We don't go with something generic, but we go very specific. And in the hook, we compare our product to other products and call out a common frustration or pain about those. Many different brands do this for product-aware audiences, and this is really how a hook for a product-aware audience is built, because they already know that our product exists and they just need a reason to buy from competitors. So if you say, hey, other products are like this, but my product doesn't have that problem, that's a very good headline. Then after that, we go into agitation. For example, if all performance agencies would charge performance fees and the performance fees are so high that they destroy your margin every single time, I could make an ad starting with frustrated by performance fees, even though those frustrated by agency performance fees. I could start a theoretical video ad about my service in a way like, this is how to get performance marketing without performance fees destroying your margin, or something in that sense. And this is the same thing you want to do for your physical product. Now the next one is agitation. So basically here we just want to make them feel understood. So we twist the knife and amplify the pain people experience when using inferior products. So there we just go even more into the pain or the satisfaction that the inferior product that we are comparing our product to creates. And then people are really like, yes, I hate this, I want a better. And this is when we come in and present our product as a different, better solution that prevents that pain. And we explain it by a new mechanism. For example, if it's a sleep supplement without melatonin that makes you kinda addicted to it, then we explain how it works and why it still works without melatonin and why it is better. So we introduce a new mechanism, and this is very important because otherwise people won't believe that we are different. We need to explain logically how and why we are different if we claim that we are. Now once they understand it logically, we need to make them understand emotionally, and this is where the proof stack comes in. We shower them in testimonials, reviews, and satisfied customers to increase conviction and trust, because if so many people say, this is amazing, it works, yes, the new mechanism is perfect, I feel just like on melatonin and I'm not addicted to it and I can stop it anytime and my sleep won't get worse, this is perfect, this is exactly what they want. So after we get them to buy in logically, we need them to buy in emotionally. Now let's say your product is also kind of more expensive or more pricey because of the new mechanism, then we reframe the investment. We compare the cost of getting the product that you're selling to the hidden cost of not getting it. For example, many sleepless nights or being addicted to melatonin versus spending the product price, something like break it down per night, let's say 50 cents per night to just have good sleep every single night from there. Then a risk reversal, like a guarantee, ideally that is part of your offer but also to improve. And then urgency driven CTA, drive action by introducing genuine scarcity or urgency. For example, if we sell a diet supplement for people who want to lose weight, start working on your summer body now to be ready in summer. Now this is just one of many frameworks you can use for the product aware market segment. And these frameworks, to implement them and to follow them is extremely important, because you can see this example framework I've just shown you gets someone from, oh, which product should I choose, to this is the best product on the market and this is why. And this only makes sense for someone who is product aware, because if the person was problem aware, and let's go back to the example of the melatonin-free sleep supplement, if they're only problem aware and don't even know what melatonin is, it doesn't make sense to explain to them that ours is better because it doesn't have melatonin. Because they wouldn't even care, they wouldn't even know what melatonin is. So the framework needs to fit their current awareness level. But if the framework fits, it's extremely effective to convince them and to convert them, and this is how the best ads are structured. So this is why it's essential you get your hands on these frameworks and then give it to your copywriters, give it to your creative team. And if they know exactly how to follow it and how to really write strong copy following this framework, then your ads will take off and you will get way more winning ads every single week. Now, how can you get your hands on these frameworks apart from scrolling through the internet and hoping that someone gives them to you? Because the truth is, yes, I've just shared one, but you will rarely find someone just share all possible frameworks, especially if they're using them to scale their own brands. So first of all, one little trick is actually really interesting. I just tested it and it works pretty well. Claude has a pretty big database and can search the internet. So I just told it, give me 5 product-aware frameworks that are currently top performing on social media. And then it spits out frameworks. Now, if we check those frameworks, let's see if they actually make sense. Framework 1, the switcher story. The switcher story is a storytelling concept, as you can already see from its name, but it also is perfectly tailored to a product-aware audience, because you can see we get them from former skeptic opening to actually someone who buys. And this is the exact journey that many people go through, and this is why it resonates so well. So here, for example, we even make people aware that think competitor products are fine, that they're actually not that good. I used competitor product for 3 years and thought it was fine until. Then number 2 is the breaking point, when they actually had an incident that made them question their choice, or that made them realize that they are actually missing out on a lot of value or performance or quality, depending on whatever you sell. Then the reluctant discovery, how they actually found your product instead, and then the comparison moment, side-by-side realization of the difference. Then the regret hook, this is where we get again the emotional buy-in. I can't believe I wasted that many years or dollars on that competitor product. And then a social proof loop. So here we mention social proof, but also we challenge other people to try it that are still using the old product. And this provocation, or like kind of challenge, works really well because they switched even though they initially didn't want to, and they experienced benefits, and now we tell them to do the same and promise them that they will experience the same benefits. And this framework obviously works pretty well for a product-aware person who uses already a competitor product and wouldn't usually think of switching. Then the myth-busting takedown. So this, again, a very organic concept, a very organic framework, but basically a proactive claim. Everyone's wrong about whatever product category. Then we reveal about what competitors don't want you to know, the hidden truth, what actually matters, that your product delivers. Category redefinition, it's not about X but about Y. X being whatever your competitor product is doing, Y being whatever the product that you sell is doing. The only real solution, position your product as the only one solving for Y. And then permission to stop, you can finally stop painful workaround or like painful experience with the competitor product. So you can see those are pretty clever. So all you need from here is actually to have a good copywriter, to connect the dots and basically bring in your own branding, bring in deep understanding of your audience, because only that way you can choose words and phrases that actually resonate with them and experiences that resonate with them. And then the competitor research, this is also a thing many people get wrong, is it's not there to copy what's working for them. It's there to understand what they are saying, what they are missing to say, and then say those specific things that they are missing to say. Because this is how we can differentiate ourselves and position ourselves as better. It's basically a rhetorical competition, and you need to win this competition. So you can see those frameworks are pretty good, so you can just look through this and potentially even apply some of these frameworks. And now this is also something you can do for each awareness stage. So you can also ask it, now do the same for unaware ad frameworks. Alright, so here we can actually see the relatable scene setting, list common symptoms. So these frameworks, to be honest, are not the best in my opinion, especially when it comes to the hooks. So you need to take it all with a grain of salt. If you have someone on the team who actually understands the awareness levels and how the messaging changes depending on that, then you can still kind of modify and improve them. But overall, the unaware stage is the hardest to crack. So if you use Claude to get frameworks for the product aware stage, for the solution aware stage, maybe even for the problem aware stage, it works pretty well. Now, the other way to get your hands on top performing frameworks is basically just use something like Atria or use something like Foreplay, where you have big libraries of ads that are currently performing for brands. You can just sort and filter them by longest running, still active, and you will see what ads they are running, and you can either transcribe it by hand and just see, okay, what did they actually do in the hook, what did they do after that. You can dissect it and see them in modules, and then take this framework and apply from some industry that maybe isn't even related to your industry or to your niche, so that competitors are not doing it already, and bring it first into your niche and then apply it. And that's how you will get your hands on high performing frameworks. You can also just take the transcript, feed it into ChatGPT or Claude, let it analyze the framework, spit it out to you, and then use it for your own ads. And then the last method, and this is the most impactful method if you do it, but also the hardest one, is if you just understand your audience, psychology, and copywriting that well that you come up yourself with them. If you come up with a new framework that might start trending on social media and that nobody has seen yet and that fits perfectly with the awareness stages and the sophistication level of your customers, then you will unlock immense scale because you are doing something, you are using an ad format that nobody has used yet, that nobody has seen yet. So that will create a lot of curiosity, views and conversions. If you want an experienced team to help you with that and create winning ads for you, click the first link in the description. This is exactly what I do for 7 to 9 figure e-commerce brands. Keep scaling. Bye.